AI has completely changed YouTube script writing, but most people still have no idea how to use it. They usually spend hours trying to create some insane AI prompt just to end up sounding like a robot. And after scripting over 60 videos in the past 6 months myself, I was pretty much forced to come up with a process where AI does most of the work without sounding like garbage. But it's not really as simple as just giving it a prompt. That's why in this video, I'm gonna walk through my entire AI script writing system. But before hopping into an AI tool like DeepSeek, there are a few steps we need to take, because if you skip them, then the output's just gonna be awful. So the first step is gonna be a pre-script prompting. Now, I don't know if you've ever used AI before, but it needs things to be pretty specific, so we're actually gonna need to train it. And if you don't, the script isn't only going to sound awful, it's not gonna follow the structure of a good video. So here's what I'm gonna need for this process. I'm gonna need an idea and a title. I'm gonna need 2 to 3 scripts to base our research on, and then later I'm gonna need an outlier video for the script structure. The idea and the title are just so we know what to make a video about. The 2 to 3 scripts are gonna be for the AI research, and then the last thing, which is the outlier video, is simply just gonna be for the scripting structure. And of course, you're gonna need an AI tool like DeepSeek, which is completely free. So I went ahead and already collected everything above, and the video I'm making is for a prospect in the e-commerce industry, specifically for email marketing. So the title is gonna be the best email marketing strategy for 2025. We're basically gonna be covering the 3 principles of an email marketing system. And the title of this video is gonna be based on this outlier concept by Jordan Platten, which is called the best lead generation strategy for 2025. And you can see we kind of just changed the title, so it's the best email marketing strategy for 2025. So I already went ahead and got 3 videos for the market research, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through each of these. I'm going to take the transcript just off the YouTube platform. I'm gonna copy and paste the whole thing, and I'm gonna go to DeepSeek. So now that I'm on DeepSeek, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give it the transcript, but first I'm gonna prompt it so it doesn't just go ahead and take everything I'm giving it and run with it. So something as simple as the following 3 transcripts are for market research. After I send each one, just say, okay, next. And then I'm just gonna give it a second. I'm just gonna say script 1. I'm gonna go here, and then I'm just gonna repeat that same process for the next few videos. But essentially I'm uploading the last script here. Now it's gonna have a great understanding of what an email marketing system actually looks like. So the 3 market research videos I had were kind of an overall basis of email marketing strategies. So each of them was how to make $10 million with email marketing, and it was going through the full process, A to Z. And I'm not really doing this to learn or educate myself. I'm just doing it to train the AI so it knows exactly what we're gonna be talking about. Now that's pretty much everything I need for the pre-script prompting. But this next step is what actually gets the script going. And if you don't take your time here, things can get really messy, because it's basically the foundation of the rest of the process. And that's gonna be building our outline. Because if you just jump right into the script, you're gonna go through this deep rabbit hole of trying to revise it inside the platform. It's gonna keep messing up, and it's just gonna get messier and messier. So we actually build the outline first, manually revise that, and then take it from there. So pretty much I'm gonna come back to DeepSeek, and I'm just gonna ask it, I'm gonna start giving it prompts and just asking it questions to learn more about, or train itself actually to learn more about the email marketing system. So as you can see, after the first prompt, it pretty much spit out 3 perfect pillars of email marketing. So it's gonna be list growth, which is lead capture, automated email flows, then email campaigns. And I know a little bit about email marketing, so I know this is actually pretty accurate. And that pretty much takes them through the whole funnel without including any jargon or any unneeded fluff. Now, once I think the 3 main pillars are pretty much good to go, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that outlier video from the pre-script prompting, and I'm gonna put that into something like Claude just to reformat it. But essentially, when I went hunting for this, I was just looking for something that had a couple 100,000 views, and I wanted to make sure it actually had a good structure. This can't be a listicle or anything. It needs to be a 3 core acts, because it's gonna move from the whole system and kind of treat it as a funnel. So what I'm gonna do is I'll show you, it's the same process where I'm just getting an outlier structure, but essentially this is gonna be through, I already know the video that I'm pulling from, just because I've seen this, and it kind of works really well with other educational channels. But the same process here, I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna take the transcript. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this one into Claude.ai, just because it's free, and I don't wanna throw any information at DeepSeek that it doesn't need. So I'll just say something as simple as, I want you to take this script and reformat it without changing a single word. So something like that should do exactly what I needed to do, which is pretty much just separate it into the main points and have it look appealing, so I know what it actually looks like. So it pretty much spit out the whole thing. I'm gonna put that back into DeepSeek now. So what I'm doing is I'm giving it the outlier structure from Dan Martell, and I'm giving it a simple prompt. Something as simple as like, this is the outlier structure that I want to apply our script to. Please just give me the outline of the script. So that will be the intro, the 3 main pillars, then the subpoints in the 3 pillars. Let me just be a little bit more specific. Please give me the outline of the script using our exact context for email marketing. And then it'll be, so that will be these 3 things. But essentially I just want to be super specific here because this is where things can get messy, and I'm gonna have to manually revise this anyway. So as you can see, it pretty much spit out everything that I need, but it's way too wishy-washy with stuff like dream big with your opt-in offer, shop your dreams, write it down, stuff like that, where it's like, it took this outlier video, which was talking about like mindset, success, more like wishy-washy stuff, and try to apply the same exact scenario. That's not necessarily going to work. So what I have to do is I'm just going to flesh it out individually. So I pretty much took the wishy-washy stuff that it was giving me, and I just separated it into like actual business talk and stuff that actually makes sense instead of, believe in your list growth. It's like list growth, build your opt-in offer, design your pop-ups, pretty much just like manually revise it on that front. And then I'm just going to give it a simple prompt. I pretty much told it just went way too far in the wrong direction, and I just manually revised it for them. I just want them to repeat it back to me so I know that they actually have it correct before we flesh the entire thing out. Because like I said, this is where things can get like super messy. Now the outline is pretty much ready to go. Like I think this is pretty solid. And from here, we're actually going to do the most important part. And I'm not just talking writing the script, I'm talking writing and revising it. Because at the end of the day, AI isn't perfect yet, at least. So whatever you spin up, you're still going to have to manually edit and revise yourself. And I'm going to walk you through that process. Now, I'm pretty much just going to tell it to write out the entire script. I told it to use the outline that we just manually revised, that I wanted to use the outlier script, and specifically the tonality, the pacing, the style, because it is an educational video and follows a great structure, but I just don't want it to be filled with too much jargon, and to make sure to like actually keep it educational, and just to use like bullet points when doing the teach sections as well. So we'll see what it spits up. So it pretty much spit everything out, but it was just pretty much just the outline still, but just a little bit more bullet points. So all I'm telling it to do is to actually build out transitions and actually make the teach section to be like way more in depth overall, to make the script like at least 750 words, just so I can kind of revise it from there. Now you can see the hook, once again, it's a little bit too much. I would probably just manually revise that section. I'm really trying to get, this teach section to be way more in depth. So for me, like this is actually pretty solid. The closing is a little bit too long, but I would just put on a simple outro with this. I'm not gonna do anything crazy. Yeah, I think he does a good job of putting in, or he, I guess, whatever the AI, does a good job of throwing in credibility, but I think the hook's not bad. The pillars, once again, I think it could be a little bit more fleshed out. So what I'm gonna do is tell it to, I still think that the main 3 pillars are just a little bit like not enough. So I'm telling it to just make that section 750 words on its own, because it keeps throwing stuff into the hook and the outro as well. So it keeps just adding more bullets to the process, but pretty much I wanted to throw more words on like the transition front, just so we have more stuff to like talk about, instead of going right into the teach section for every single pillar. Not that that's necessarily bad, but like one sentence just really isn't cutting it for me. But as you can tell, like this process is just really repetitive, and you kind of just have to keep giving it more stuff until it gives you what you actually want. All right, so now you can see it's actually building out more of like a script. This is a little bit too much, but I was just trying to get something from it. So now I can pretty much trim the whole thing down. It just told me to replace with the existing content, which it had up here. So I have the bullet points for each of them, which are really in depth, which is really nice because I can kind of like trim things down. It also made these transitions really nice to give me kind of like the why and the what of each pillar. So I can actually flow with the script, make viewers know that it's important, include social proof, stuff like that. But essentially, I just wanted to get as much on there as possible so I can actually go in, put this in a Google Doc, and start to just manually revise it. Hopefully just delete a bunch of stuff, remove some of the jargon, and kind of fix up the wording just to fit something that's actually educational and makes sense. But to me, that's pretty much as far as I'm going to get, or I'm going to at least trust AI to do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and revise the whole thing, but as you can tell, it pretty much got rid of 80% of the manual labor. All I have to do is sit down and revise it, but coming up with a great script means nothing without a great strategy in place. So if you want to see the new way of making money on YouTube in 2025, watch this video right here, and I'll see you over there.